Get ready.
Genesis does.
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does.
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis.
Hello and welcome to episode 67 of the SEGAbits Swingin Report Show. I'm Barry. With me is George.
Like always.
And with us is our guest, Nate Mitchell of Squid Kids Inc. Hello, Nate.
How's it going?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm a little stressed, but doing good.
Yeah. Well, I guess just to sort things out, Squid Kids Inc. is your company?
Yes.
So Analog is the line of figures, and Megabit is the Sega-themed figure.
Correct.
And then Kickstarter is where everything's at.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, I guess to kick things off, how did you become a toy designer, and what led to creating Squid Kids Inc.?
I guess I started sculpting when I was 19, so that's been a while. And then I ended up going to school for toy design at Otis back in 2001.
Okay.
And then I graduated in 2004, started working in the toy industry on action figures at Playmates Toys in 2004, and then, went to Spin Master in 2006, and I left Spin Master in 2012. So I've been doing Squid Kids Inc. for 2.5 years full-time.
Wow. Are there any notable lines that you worked on when you were with any of those companies?
Playmates, I worked on a variety of things, and then I worked on the King Kong toy line for that movie.
Oh, wow.
And some very little bit of TMNT at the time. And then Spin Master, I did Stormhawks, which is a cool show, cool toys, but didn't do well. Some Bakugan action figures. The best one I felt was How to Train Your Dragon, the first movie. I was really happy with those toys.
Very cool.
And then others I'm not so proud of.
Do you want to name any of them?
I really don't want to.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Some are better left forgotten, right?
Right. I hear you. I was walking to work yesterday, and for some reason I thought of Betty Spaghetti. Do you remember that?
Barely. I remember the name more than I remember the product.
What a stupid toy. Anyway.
Is that the one that grew hair? Or
I
no.
think so. She looked like spaghetti.
Oh, Jesus.
Kids love spaghetti, and girls love spaghetti dolls. So this So Analog line, these are vintage or retro products given life with arms and legs and eyes. What gave you the idea to create these?
I mean, I think people have been doing anthropomorphic designs for forever. Mm-hmm. But I guess I grew up with those type of products, and I like designer toys and people's artwork. So I was sketching in my sketchbook, thinking of ways to make a toy that people could put their artwork on. Because in the vinyl toy scene, there's a lot of people that do customs and paint their own figures, but a lot of people can't paint. So, and there are a lot of digital artists out there that, can't paint traditionally. So I figured I tried to think of something that those people could print out their artwork and then essentially customize a figure easily. And so I was sketching, and I think the first one I drew up was A Drive, which is based on a floppy disk. Mm-hmm. I think 3 3/4 or 3.5, whatever.
Yeah, 3 3/4, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just kept thinking of other old things like that I could put a label on it. Obviously, NES was a big one, and I finally named him Tendo. And then there's a B-side cassette tape, and then I've done like 10 different So Analog characters, but I just haven't really released them all, mostly because of financial reasons.
Right. I'm looking at the illustration here. You have it looks like Atari, SNES.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I'm close to making keychains for all of them, because keychains are relatively easy and cheaper to make than like full production toys. So,
right.
one way for me to get them out there.
Were you ever inspired by the muscle figures? Do you remember those?
Yeah, I have some friends that do OMFG. It's like outlandish minifigure guys, and they're essentially inspired by muscles. So I haven't wanted to get into that area because a lot of people are doing it right now. But I have essentially models of my figures at that size, just in case I want to try to make them. So I make them for myself more than anything.
So these Megabit figures, these are your first licensed product?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you turned to Kickstarter, and we'll post the link to with the video and tell everyone about it. But you got 16 days to go, halfway there. Actually, someone just bought one while we were talking, so that's cool.
Hey,
but so why I see with the Nintendo ones, they're not licensed. Did you attempt to go to Nintendo for the idea?
No, it was more of a, what's the saying? Beg for forgiveness or something like that. I don't know, but it was. I just wanted to do it, and I figured, Parody's a gray area. I haven't heard from them, so I guess that's good.
Right.
I get a lot of questions about that, but no problem so far.
So what caused you to not parody Sega, but actually go to them and try to get officially licensed Genesis cards? Well,
the thing is, they came to me.
Oh,
So I exhibit at like Comic-Con and other conventions, and last year, one of the marketing ladies from Sega approached me and wanted me to design a figure based on Genesis for their 25th anniversary. And obviously I was excited. I mean, that's a huge company coming to me saying, "Hey, want to make this figure for us." And it was a struggle from day one. Like, they're a big company. I'm one guy, and they want their money up front. I can't provide money up front, so we said it would be a Kickstarter. It got pretty far along, and just before we were ready to launch it, they said, "No, we need the money up front. Can you do that?" And I'm like, again, no. So it died back in November, and then that lady left. A new guy joined in, Sega, and he contacted me, I think, back in April of this year, and we've been trying to get it going again. So that's where we're at. He was able to work his magic internally to get them on board enough for me to do the Kickstarter. So.
Oh, that's interesting that Sega's actually kind of going out there and scouting or reaching out to people. I know we spoke with Darren Wall, who's doing the Mega Drive Genesis Kickstarter book, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, that one too. It's officially licensed, but again, I think to obtain the license from Sega, he needed to turn to Kickstarter, and it's I'm surprised that Sega is so willing to do that, because I know a lot of people they push to have classic Sega games revived through Kickstarter, so it's interesting to see that they're kind of testing the waters maybe. With other products. But George, you actually had some questions about the production process?
I kind of did, but I think he kind of answered kind of the idea behind the Sega stuff. So I'm going to start off my question with what was your favorite figures like growing up?
Growing up, I mostly had G.I. Joe toys, and it might have been partially because my parents were born-again Christians at the time, so He-Man was off limits, but G.I. Joe was cool, so I had lots of G.I. Joes.
Why was He-Man more off limits?
I think the whole magic and fantasy elements weren't cool with my parents at the time. They've lightened up since, but
that's good.
And then obviously Transformers were the toys that I wanted, and I had a couple of those. And Mask was probably one of my favorites. I don't know if you remember those, but I love them.
No. I remember the Transformers figures, mostly the ones that are like animals.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Those are probably Beast Wars.
Yeah, I remember those. Growing up, my cousin always had them, and he was always like showing them off. I thought they were pretty cool. I just couldn't afford them as a kid.
Yeah.
So, what's the process of making an action figure like this?
For this, I mean, the way I go about it is I do the sculpting and design work. Most companies, bigger companies, have designers internally that will do the work, or they even farm it out to external people. But I do the sculpting digitally because they're such mechanical figures. You know, it's essentially a cartridge, so there's no point in doing that traditionally.
Yeah.
And then I usually have it output. My buddy's got a shop that, you know, does prototyping and everything, so I go through him. Because I like getting a real sample before I send it over to China, because I want to see it in my hands and feel it and see if the size is right and everything. I could go straight to China, but I like keeping some of my money in the U.S., so I like supporting my friend's shop, and it's not as cheap, but I have more control over it, and that's always a good thing. So then after I get the prototype, I'll send it out to China. They'll actually redo a model because they have to do all the engineering involved to do wall thicknesses and like tolerances, all kinds of smart kid stuff. So it takes about a month or two for the tooling, the steel molds to get cut. Then after that, you get first shots, which would be like a kind of a rough plastic injection molded piece. So it might not fit together well. It might not be as refined. So they'll refine it, fine tune it, and then pretty soon after that, they'll start production. Obviously, I have to design the packaging. I have to, you know, make sure the labels are all ready to print, and they'll do the production, assembly, label, application, packaging. Then it gets all boxed up, put on a boat, sits on the boat for 3 to 4 weeks. Hopefully, it clears customs quickly. Ends up in my distributor's warehouse, and I pick them up, and he ships them out to stores.
Nice.
It's a fun process.
I was going to say, the packaging. It's going to look like a Sega Genesis cartridge. I mean, right? The box art, I guess.
I haven't quite figured it out yet, because with the Tendos, there was like a natural fit for the sleeve. I don't know if you've seen that packaging, but NES cartridges used to come with a black sleeve. So I worked that into that packaging. I want to have it a window box so you can see what figure you're getting on Megabit as well. So it might not look like the old boxes that the cartridges used to come in. It might look like a cartridge, and then you see through the window and you see what label you're getting. Not quite figured out yet.
Right. Well, you could also look to the cardboard Genesis boxes for inspiration, because those like, you know, the Sonic and Knuckles one or things like that. That might be cool.
Vector Man 2 had it.
Oh, Vector Man, and it was shiny too.
Yeah.
The tough thing is because I make such low quantities, to produce a package that's unique to each individual figure is really expensive. So I try to make one box that will work for every figure. And that's why you have the window, so you can see what figure you're getting.
Oh, that works. I mean, but like you could use the color scheme or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the Sega Genesis, and I keep on calling it the Mega Drive for some reason, I don't know why. Do you have any favorite Sega Genesis games?
I mean, I think my favorite games were probably Altered Beast and Golden Axe, but the fact that I mostly played them in the arcade, because I didn't actually have a Genesis, because, you know, back then we didn't have a whole lot of money, so it was Nintendo or Sega. It wasn't both, and we happened to get Nintendo. I don't even know why. It's just that's how it ended up. But I played the hell out of those in the arcade. Mostly Golden Axe, I think.
How was Sega about licensing? Like, did they tell you, oh, you can't use that game? Like, did you ask for a game and they're like, no, you can't do that game?
Yeah, they pretty much suggested which ones we should do, and of course I wanted to do Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, and those might happen if things go well. But you got to start somewhere, and starting with 4 games is pretty good. And obviously, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Sonic, and then Shinobi are all great games. So what sucks though is like I can't do like a Street Fighter one or a Mortal Kombat one, which I'd love to do, but those are different licenses, different companies, whole different can of worms. So.
Well, you never know if these products. I mean, if the figures do well, you could approach them easily. Like, oh, look, Sega said it's fine.
Yeah, for sure, and I would love to do that. But again, one step at a time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A Capcom set would be really cool, but like you said, one step at a time. You don't want to even think about dealing with Capcom at this point.
Even dealing with Sega is a challenge. I wanted to have 2 different Sonic cartridges available in the Kickstarter. The not for resale one and the regular retail version, but they thought it was too Sonic heavy, and I agree. It looked like if you bought the biggest combo, you'd get 4 Sonic cartridges, and that's a little repetitive to me. So
it's actually kind of interesting that they said it was too Sonic heavy. I mean, just because it seems like right now they're kind of promoting Sonic so much in like so it's like, wow, they told you that too much Sonic. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a separate Sonic team and there's a separate Altered Beast team. There's a bunch of different teams that have to approve stuff. So I can understand their point of view to some regard.
So they actually had to get approval from the teams in Japan?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to get approval from Sega US, but then everything goes through Sega Japan. And Sega Japan, I don't know if they fully understand what I'm trying to do. Like maybe they understand it, but they have their limitations. So I wanted to do a blue Sonic Megabit where the label was his eyes, and it looked like a Sonic Sega cartridge, and they totally killed that one. Like, there's no way they were going to allow me to do that. And a huge part of that, I'm sure, is Sonic's their baby, and they need it portrayed in a certain way, and they didn't feel that was a good way to portray Sonic, so it was a no-go. I think people would like it, but...
So do you think it was obviously harder working with Sega Japan on this kind of stuff?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just Sega Japan. It might just be Sega in general because they are such a big company and they are a video game company. They're not a toy company. Obviously, they license their stuff out a lot, but it's not their main source of revenue,
Oh, yeah, of course. I was going to say, Nate, when you came up with this, this is probably going to give you probably already had headaches dealing with this, but when you're coming up with the design, were you ever thinking about, doing some region-specific stuff, like doing Mega Drive labels or something?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got a lot of comments about that when the Kickstarter just started. The truth is, I was unaware of Mega Drive during my childhood. I thought Sega Genesis was what it was called everywhere, because obviously that was back in the 80s and 90s. So internet wasn't there to educate me on it. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen during the Kickstarter because, again, that would be a deal with Sega UK, and it would be a totally different license, and it would be a totally different royalty involved and minimum guarantee, and it's just so unfortunately so it's a big headache to even get a Mega Drive label on there.
Yeah, thankfully you have those blank ones, so if people really do have a game that they want to see as a figure, they can make it, most definitely. Are you going to be providing labels too that people can print on or draw on?
Right now they'll come with one label that people can draw on. They're hard to print on because how do you set a printer to print it that size and line it up? So that's problematic. But I'm trying to work with an online sticker company that could put up a template of, Megabit and Nintendo and all those, and people could upload their artwork and print out stickers through that company and get whatever label they want.
That would be really cool.
So
Yeah.
hopefully that can work out, and it'll be easy for people.
Yeah, well, not too long ago, the former marketing director at Sega posted this roll of stickers from Sonic 2's release. They were a test print for holographic labels for Sonic 2.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, he's not giving them away, but if
Yeah.
I ever got my hand on a few of those, I'd definitely keep one in mint shape and slap one on like a cartridge or one of these figures. That would have looked really cool. But had a question. It seems the models you're using, they're the same, but with a different sticker, obviously, represent the games. Were there ever plans to make hands or feet different that maybe would align with the game? I know you mentioned the Sonic one. Were you thinking like gloves as hands?
It's another tricky thing when you're doing a toy. Is like you try to save money where you can, and especially doing a Kickstarter, I set the lowest goal possible to hopefully reach it. And one of the cuts I had to make was use the same arms and legs as the large Tendo figure. So that saves me, roughly $4,000 in tooling. And so I don't have to ask for $34,000, $35,000 to make it. I ask for 30. Hopefully we can do that as a stretch goal. And yeah, they wouldn't be exactly Sonic. They'd be Sonic inspired arms and legs,
Mm-hmm.
and but they just have like a slightly different shape and like cufflinks, or not cufflinks, but like cuffs,
Cufflinks would be classy, though.
Yeah. Maybe as an add-on.
I was wondering, how did you come up with the name Megabit?
It was a struggle for sure. Like Tendo was, it came. Actually, a friend came up with Tendo, but it was kind of a natural fit. Genesis doesn't lend itself to clever names. So after a long time, I was reading Wikipedia about all the Sega history, and it talks about Mega Drive. I'm looking at all the images of Sega Genesis stuff, and it says 16-bit on the console. So I was like, Megabit. I'd take some from both, and that's how it came up.
I think, George, when you created SEGAbits, you had a similar inspiration, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was the same thing. All the names we had beforehand were like terrible, so yeah, that worked.
Yeah.
It sounds better.
Sega Vomit was, I think, one of them, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty terrible name. Can you imagine us right now talking to you name and be like, hey, we're Sega Vomit, let's talk about vomiting.
I don't think that would work out.
I don't know, it's got some humor to it, at least,
Yeah, though I don't know if we could get some of our like, hey,
some
you
guests.
you used to be the voice actor for, do you want to be on Sega Vomit? They just hang up.
That would be kind of awesome, though.
So with the colored cartridges, I'm curious, is there a different cost involved with like the gold ones or the red ones?
Yeah, for sure. So the process is called VUM for short. It's called vacuum metallizing, and it's a different kind of process, and it's an additional process. So I have to say I don't fully understand it. I've seen it done, but usually it's like figures soaking in a bath of chemicals, and so what happens is you get that metal coating on there, and it'll look like chrome. It's essentially like a chrome process, and then they'll spray a translucent color over top of that to get the color gold or red or blue. So it's definitely more work. It definitely costs more money. You can see it in action figures in the action figure aisle. Even right now, Transformers 4 is using it. And usually it's used sparingly because it is an expensive process. So that's why, to coat a big figure like Megabit in that much material and paint is not cheap.
Have you seen the, kind of off topic, I'm curious, have you seen the Transformers Megatron Mega Drive?
I have seen it. Well, I've only seen the the photos of the prototypes, it's still gray. I haven't seen it painted up or anything, but I heard it's only in Japan.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey. It's a little over $100 just to import.
Yeah.
So
I might have to see if one of my buddies in Hong Kong can grab one for me. Usually Hong Kong's got a lot of Japanese toys there. So
yeah, because if you can imagine one of your figures actually like fitting in or riding on top of him, it'd be like
yeah,
the ultimate.
My guy is pretty big. I don't know how big the Megatron is, but my guy's slightly bigger than a classic cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, just the body's like 5 inches wide. So with the arms and legs, I could measure one right now. It's probably like almost 7 inches wide. And then he's about 4.5 inches tall. So he's a little chunk of plastic for sure.
Now, I was looking at the Tendo ones. Do these actually come in two parts and they're screwed together, or are they one solid block with the screws kind of implied?
They're manufactured as separate parts, but they're assembled by the factory, so it comes as a solid body. The arms and legs are always packed out separate, so you attach the arms and legs.
Okay. Well, very cool. George, you had some questions?
Yes, I did. With Sega, well, I was gonna say Sega open for additional figures in the future.
Yeah, even the first time we talked about the project and it fell apart, we were already discussing doing Sonic 2 and 3 and whatever, hopefully potentially other Sega owned properties. But again, we didn't. I've talked with them about trying to do other licenses like like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but that didn't get very far because they really just wanted to focus on getting the first ones done. So.
I've also noticed that like a lot of the ones they chose are like, I guess, very early Sega Genesis titles, like the first Sonic game, the first Shinobi game. Are you like also like, are they also open to doing like Golden Axe 2 and maybe Shinobi 3, which is probably the most popular one?
I would definitely think so. Obviously, you want to start with the first one and work your way up to the later ones. I think also the main idea for the project was to celebrate the Genesis and its 25th anniversary. So the games, I think Altered Beast was probably a launch title. I can't really remember. But you want to kind of focus on the figure itself and celebrate that 25th anniversary and not get it confused with like a 25th anniversary of Sonic or of the games. So that's kind of why we started with the earlier games and everything.
So is after the Kickstarter hopefully successful, what are your hopes and future for the Megabit line? Like, what do you want to do long term with it?
Well, like we've been talking about, I'd definitely like to do other licenses with it because my favorite games are often third-party games. Or is it third-party? First-party game? No, third-party games. Anyway. So we have discussed doing a mini figure line, like the mini Tendos. So possibly doing a blind box series with, a bunch of different labels that you could, get. Blind boxes don't appeal to everybody, though, so we might have to do open boxes or, what you're buying. But I would like to do that and obviously like to continue doing different versions of the large megabit.
Have you ever considered doing I don't know if you've seen them, but maybe a console version of these, like instead of the cartridge, like it's a mini console with the hands and feet?
Yeah, I definitely have. It's tough because I like things to be somewhat proportionally correct. Like if I do a Tendo, I don't want to do a console that's like smaller or equal in size to the Tendo. I'd rather it look like it should. But that if I stick with that, then the NES console or a Genesis console is going to be massive, and that's like really cost prohibitive. Like the tooling and just production costs would be so high that it's unlikely. So yeah, I would probably like to do those as minifigures, so the scale isn't as important, at least in my head.
No, that's all my questions I had, I think.
Well, awesome. Well, it's Megabit figures inspired by Sega Genesis. Nate Mitchell. It's on Kickstarter. So if you're listening to this, head on over, support it. In fact, I just tweeted it out, and we got another backer on it, so that's cool.
Sweet. That's awesome.
So I want to thank you again for sitting down to talk to us about the project.
Hey, yeah. I appreciate it.
Exciting stuff. I know these Kickstarters can be, especially during them. I've talked to a lot of people who do Kickstarters, and it's stressful up until the end of it, but I definitely have high hopes for you. This is a really cool project, and I wish you the best on it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I do need all the help we can get, so it's been interesting. It had a great start. It definitely had a slowdown period. Hopefully it ramps up again, and I think it'll happen. It's going to be stressful for me.
Right. I understand that. But, we'll do the best we can, too, to get the word out there. And this podcast will be up tomorrow. So
awesome.
You can let your supporters know all about that. So, again, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
All right. Take care. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye. Well, thanks to Nate for speaking with us about his Kickstarter project. Again, that's the Megabit figures inspired by Sega Genesis. You can just search Megabit on Kickstarter and support the guy. It's a cool project, and it's always it's especially exciting to know that Sega's out there actually approaching other people rather than the other way around for projects like this. So who knows? Maybe Shenmue 3. No. Anyway,
don't say that.
Yeah, right. Speaking of the number 3, welcome to the 3D Zone. 3D Fantasy Zone 2 Double is coming to the 3DS in Japan. So again, another game that, I don't know. Do you think these things will come to the US?
They have to come to the US, right? Come on.
I hope so. I mean, the last line, I don't know how the sales were, but it's like, I can't imagine the localization or bringing these over here would really cause much a strain on their Sega's wallet. But yeah, we have Afterburners out in Japan. We also have Fantasy Zone, and this is Fantasy Zone 2 Double. Now, do you know anything about this game?
I do not know, actually, but I do know that the first one had extra content, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, this one's the Tears of Opa Opa, which was a sequel, but it looks like there's also a game mode called Link Loop Land, which is a score attack endless mode, which endless mode definitely fits on the kind of handheld portable device, which surprises me because I could see Fantasy Zone actually working as an endless runner. I mean, I'd hate to see that happen, but at the same time, I could see that happen, just like going along like as a shooter, side scroller. I don't know, but
if it comes out, I'll buy it, but I'm just a little like pet. I don't really like playing these type of games on handheld. I like playing them on console, and since they're not doing support for the Wii U, I mean, it's kind of like, kind of wish it would release on multiple systems, not just be tied into the DS.
Right. Well, have you played the Space Harrier 3DS?
I have not. I've never bought anything on the eShop on Nintendo, and I don't want to buy anything on the eShop on Nintendo. Like, I just don't feel like, I don't know, something about their store just pisses me off. Every time I go on there, I'm like, this is all overpriced garbage, and I don't buy anything.
I'll admit the prices are a bit high, especially on the Nintendo games, but I think the Sega ones are, for the most part, worth it. I'd say avoid the Genesis ones, but the arcade ones, I've picked all of those up, and I've just really enjoyed them, especially Galaxy Force 2, that's an awesome game in 3D, as is Space Harrier. I'd say hang on, maybe pass on that, just because it's a great game, but it's kind of simplistic in the 3D, and there isn't really much to it outside of just going through the courses. But yeah, controlling the Space Harrier guy with the stylist is really cool. So
it's a good port then.
It's a good port. It's the first time I've played Space Harrier and really felt like I was in complete control, if that makes sense.
So wouldn't it be nicer playing on a big TV? I mean, I'm really hope that these we get Sonic 1 and 2, and we get that we get it remade so it could look nice in 1080p and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just a little spoiled now. And then it's like the Japanese is doing their own thing, and it's like they got to come up together there.
Yeah.
I would love to. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I haven't played the Sonic 3DS game yet, but that was, when that happened, that was an interesting thing where it was like, so are Sega Japan and Sega West even talking to each other? I mean, we've seen 2 Sonic ports in the same year, and they're like, why don't you just make a 3D version of the enhanced version instead of having a team recreate Sonic again?
It's like, yeah, it's like wasted money, and it's like Chris Whitehead did a really damn good job, and it's kind of wish they just, I don't know if they're still working with him, but it'd be a shame if they drop that relationship.
Right, yeah.
Considering all the classics that deserve that treatment.
Oh, definitely. Like,
imagine the Streets of Rage trilogy.
Imagine Toe Jam and Earl in 3D.
No, I'm good.
I can see the backdrop, and I can see Toe Jam and Earl walking on top of it. Holy shit. It's 3D.
I mean, there's like, there's some I would want to watch. I mean, if they had to do like my games I had to pick, I would pick like Phantasy Star 4 because that's probably the easiest one to get into.
Right.
It'd be weird though, right? They're like, "Hey guys, Phantasy Star 4 is being remade. The only one, not 2, 3, or 1.
Right. Yeah.
A 4th one."
That would kind of stink.
But that is the best one. I mean, it's not piss hard, I guess, for people.
Right.
That's my opinion on that. We want to talk about Aliens?
Yeah, Alien Isolation has some pre-order content that reunites the original film cast. We have Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley, Tom Skerritt as Dallas, and a cast of another 4 or so. I don't want to read all their names. But it's... some people have been complaining about it, namely Jim Sterling, about how pre-order DLC is nonsense and how we shouldn't have these sorts of things. I don't know. I don't want to be the fanboy apologist, but I've just become kind of like used to these things. I don't know.
I'm in a way I'm half leaning one side and half leaning the other way. Just because like if Sega handled the last 2 games, I mean, a lot of people think that I mean, they have $200 worth of DLC for fucking company heroes like 2. It's like that fan base is very mad about that, and it's like. And then they did the same thing with Rome, which came out incomplete, and they were like pimping like new packs you could buy while the game is broken and most people couldn't play it. Mm-hmm. And it's like you gotta fucking pick your cards. You gotta you can't do $200 worth of content. I mean, I'm not saying Aliens is going to get $200 worth of content, but the way Aliens is doing it so far isn't that bad. But I can see why people are a little ticked off that like they released the shitty game. The last Aliens game. Yeah. And now they're like, hey, pre-order it and trust us. We'll give you free stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we've had something similar to this with the... And I don't know if it's been confirmed if they're doing it the same way, but remember with Sonic Lost World, they had the Deadly 6 edition. And with All-Stars Racing Transformed, they had the Metal Sonic bonus edition. So I'm wondering if this is going to be kind of a non-issue, and it turns out that the Nostromo, I can't say that right, edition is actually just going to be like first come, first served in the stores with the DLC codes inside. And if you buy it used, you don't get those codes, which I don't think you should get those codes if you're buying it used.
Of course. People still buy used games.
Yeah. But, just, I guess my opinion on it was that I heard people talking about the release month that it's coming out, and they're like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm even going to get Alien Isolation on day 1 because there's so many other games. And then they announce this, and people go, what the fuck, Sega? Now I have to buy the game on day 1. And I'm like, exactly. They're trying to give you incentive to buy it on day 1. They don't want you to go, oh, Alien Isolation looks cool. I'll buy it in 4 months when it gets down to like $20. And
then there's the other side, obviously, where you just said, like, Sega has a real hard time keeping prices on their games steadily of price. They always drop. Like, I remember when I would like go in the store and I would buy a Sega game for like $50. I would come in like 2 months or like even a month later, and it was like $30. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, great! I just spent a bunch of fucking money. Thanks, Sega.
Right.
It's like, I'm just saying, it's like they have to find a way cleverly to try to get people excited to buy the game the first day it comes out. And EA did this with Dante's Inferno too. They did like a special edition for the first day right away. I think Sega should have probably went with we're going to do a special label and special packaging and maybe give them something a little extra for the fans instead of just you get DLC for free. I mean, maybe more people would have been more appreciative, or just not said it was DLC.
Right.
Because the whole DLC has like a bad stigma, I guess.
From reading it, it looks like there's 2 pieces of bonus content. There's Crew Expendable, and it looks like that one is going to be similar to the bonus editions of the Sonic games, where it says if you've pre-ordered the game, you will be upgraded to the Nostromo. I'm probably saying it wrong again. Edition. But it says here that if you pre-order at GameStop, you'll get the exclusive Last Survivor. So that I could see that being a point of contention with people, because it's like, not only do I need to pre-order to get the first mission, but I have to pre-order through GameStop to get the other one.
And going through GameStop is, I think, stupid. So dumb.
Yeah.
Because if you pre-ordered in Amazon and it ever drops price, they'll fucking they'll give you the cheapest price before it comes out. Obviously, when you pre-order it in GameStop, it's going to be $60 no matter what. Right.
Well, I'm definitely, I have no problem with the from what it looks like, the packaged edition with the first bit of DLC, because like I mentioned, it was all the Sonic games that came out, they do this. You go to the store 2 months later, you're still going to find the game with the bonus edition. I think just now All-Stars Racing Transformed has finally started to release the non-bonus edition ones. So,
Jesus, barely?
I think so, because I saw someone posting a picture and they were like, hey, check it out, normal edition of All-Stars Racing Transformed at Target or whatever. It's probably not fair of me to talk like that. That's probably not how they sound.
Because that's probably not what he sounds like.
Yeah, but I do agree that it is kind of lame that they're going, the other piece of pre-order content is through GameStop. So it's like, I'm split. Like, I'm totally fine with the packaged ones, because we've talked before about people who are like, yeah, I'm a true Sega fan. And then it's like, oh, cool, when's the last game you bought on release? I haven't really. I did get this one game used. It's called Sonic Generations. It's pretty cool. I got it for $10. It's like, if you're going to be a Sega fan and you want to support Sega, go get the games that look good on release. I'm totally fine with, passing on the shitty looking ones, like waiting for the review scores to come out. I actually got into a little argument on Skype with a person who should remain nameless, but
I'm going to say his name.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm joking around.
But, he was saying, that these sorts of things are bullshit. Like, how do I know if the game is good or not? And I'm like, well, if this was like 1993, maybe I'd agree with you, because I remember when Back to the Future Part 3 came out, and I was like, holy shit, one of my favorite franchises is going to have a game. I need to get that and play it. And I played it, and it was absolute garbage. But, nowadays, Alien Isolation, we have people going out there and actually playing it. I mean, we know people who have played it. We have previews. We have advanced reviews. So there's going to be more than enough press out there for you to get an idea of how good this game is or not. And then you can make your decision to pre-order it. Yeah, sure, you might have to pre-order it a little last minute, maybe like in the last 2 weeks or something. But honestly,
somebody's going to say on the comments, I already know it, oh, but Alien Colonial Marine showed up fake footage. Yeah, I did. I mean, no, and don't get me wrong. Don't fucking pre-order the game. But the fucking game is going to have the fucking DLC code for the first week when it comes out. So you'll be seeing your Destructoid review and all that other stuff you like to watch.
Yeah.
And you can still get the fucking DLC for free. Just buy it the first couple of weeks it comes out at least. I mean,
The only thing you're going to miss out on probably is the GameStop DLC, which I believe will be printed out on the receipt like they usually do. So... But then again, like, if you really don't, if you're like, I'm going to wait then, you probably don't care about this DLC, so why are you complaining, You're probably not as big an Alien fan as, I don't get it.
I'm hoping the game is good, because if it's fucking garbage, it's going to be more shit. I'm actually surprised. Colonial Marine sucked, and a lot of people were not that mad at Sega. They were more mad at Gearbox, so there's always that.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, I'm hoping the game's good, and I haven't played it firsthand, but from what I've seen, it looks like a fun game. I think the major knocks or major negatives I could put against it was that it's probably going to be a short game. They've already said it is a short game. But then again, like, would you rather have a really good like 10-hour, 12-hour experience, or a so-so shooter that goes on for 40 hours or however long those things go.
I want a game that's like 100 fucking hours, and I could go in arcades, and I could and I could explore my house. Is there games like that?
Yeah, it's called Shenmue. Can you imagine if it was like you were playing as the main character in isolation, and you're like, oh, an arcade machine, this looks fun, and you start playing it, and the alien hears it, and you're just like, you're playing Hang On, and you just suddenly get like torn apart from the inside out from behind. His arm just goes through the seat.
That'd be great. I love that.
You're playing the game, like the actual ROM of the game is on the screen, and all of a sudden it just starts getting splattered with blood, and you lose your ability to control the game.
That'd be awesome.
That would be
I'd
awesome.
play that.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
what?
they also, another thing that I guess tick people off, I don't know, that the Oculus Rift is not real product, just a prototype. What do you think? Would that even matter? I mean, I'm surprised they even showed a fucking... Why did they even show that demo? I don't know why, but maybe just for the hype.
Yeah, I mean, it might happen. I have a feeling that it might be something to happen for the PC release, but it was kind of weird for them to show it off and get such good impressions, and they go, oh, we're not actually doing it. But, you know, it could be that they do it after the game releases, and it might...
I have a feeling they don't want to just release it. I don't think the support is probably done, and they want to do it maybe as an update or something. Like, oh, now it supports the Oculus Rift on PC. I mean, technically, it's only going to be a PC-only feature so far.
Or it could have been that Sega found that they were getting such good press on it that Sony and Microsoft were like, what about our version? So they're probably like, well, we're not doing it. But
yeah, fuck it. We'll wait for the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Aliens Isolation versus Predator.
Aliens Isolation. Holy shit, there's more than one this time?
Yeah, there's two aliens.
Great.
You play an alien hiding from a little girl.
It's like peekaboo. It just got a whole new meaning.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
Those cheesy ads.
Yeah.
Did you? I was gonna ask you this since we're gonna close this off in like it's not a little bit. Did you order the Vice Skies of Arcadia figure?
I can't afford that,
dude. You can't afford $230 for fucking Skies of Arcadia. No, I'm joking around.
I do wish that they had these in like installment plans, so they were like, yeah, put down $50 now, and then we'll charge you $50 a month until the thing comes out or something. But oh well, I guess it will never be. I don't have room for it anyway.
Well, you could put it in your bedroom, right there in the middle. So you're like right next to your like you have a picture of you and your wife, and then Vice action figure in the middle.
Yeah, and Rio.
Yeah, of course.
And Shadow.
Oh yeah, of course. If you don't have Shadow, you're a fucking bitch.
And then my fan made statue of Silver.
Of course, you'll get one day.
Yeah,
the only other bit of news is that we're doing a Comic Zone week. I've never played the game. Can you believe? No, I'm joking. No.
You're the one that pitched the week.
I know. I'm just looking around.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to go low in price so I can buy it used. I'm a pretty big Sega fan.
I'm just trying to see if I could buy it on my PS3. I don't own any retro consoles.
Right. You guys know where I can get Sonic 1 used. I haven't played it yet, but I'm not giving Sega my money.
They don't deserve it.
Yeah.
I did a Tuesday Tunes on it. I did a Monday, but the real good content is coming on the site tomorrow. Comic Zone, My Life with Sega.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, it's already on our channel. You can actually watch it on our YouTube channel, like after you watch or listen to this shit.
That's true. Yeah, it's the season 3 premiere of My Life with Sega, and he showed the Comic Zone episode at our panel at Too Many Games, and I guess following the show, he just wanted to get it out there. So technically, it's already out, but it's really only the people who like our hardcore followers who frequently check our channel are the ones seeing it. So.
And how was the reception on it at the event?
Oh, they loved it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
There's a guy dressed up like Sketch Turner.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. It was kind of like Sketchception. He was like watching himself in the Comic Zone. I'm
surprised.
People enjoyed it. People laughed at it. I mean, we mentioned too in our Too Many Games podcast that it was a great turnout and a lot of people really enjoyed it. So,
it'd be pretty funny if AJ in his fucking videos like Sketch Turner, the fucking gayest character ever to lick anus.
Yeah, and he's like, whoever would want to dress as this guy?
And the guy's just sitting there going, "Oh man,
Come on!" And he just walks out and back into his comic book and disappears.
that'd be great." All right, I think we could close this episode off, right?
Yeah, sure thing. So again, thank you for joining us, Nate, and we'll post the links up. I've said the name of the Kickstarter already. Megabit. Search for that. Give the guy your support. Comics Zone Week is going on right now. We've got the time of this going up a few more days, so enjoy that. We have more theme weeks and theme months on the way. It is the year of the console, and we have taken a break from that, but methinks a certain expansion is coming soon to the website, so that'll be fun.
All right.
All right. Bye. That was good.